Miniature Market has thousands of board games at discounted prices. Click the direct link below to see all of those discounted games. Hello my friends, today it's all about the Mist. The Mist is going to be all around different towns, different locations, and we're going to be going around over the ocean and going to different locations, delivering things, but also making networks. Today we're talking about Mistwind. This was my #1 anticipated game for Gen Con. It's designed by the designers of Sagrada. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. In Mistwind, each player gets their own tray that has these beautiful components in it with these big whales, transports, and outposts, and poker chips for action selection, cubes and such. Great table presence in this game, and the insert is amazing. Everything fits together nicely. Now here's the board set up for 4 players. Now there's lots of things off the board I'll show you later, but generally speaking, everyone has one of these cool transports I just showed you, and you're gonna be moving around, building routes to make you move easier, collecting goods, delivering goods, and trying to build networks for points. Because for example, you might end up moving yourself over here, picking up this sort of fungus here, which has cubes, putting the cube there, and then eventually coming back to here and delivering it, and you're going to be getting certain things, like all these small ones are worth a point. If you get one that's down the bottom, you'll get rewards like an extra coin or 2 coins and a wood, which is a resource. If you get one of these, you'd get this and all these slide down. Either way, a new one is going to come out. You keep this because it's going to be worth 1 point at the end for the small ones, but you keep it for a few reasons. There's a lot of end game goals. Like this one says, if you have the first one to get 5 green crates is going to get 5 points. Well, this is a purple crate, but if it was green, I'd only need 4 more. So sometimes you're doing it for goals there. At the end of the game, you're also going to get, whoever has the most crates of each color is going to get points, like 5 points for whoever's the majority. So you're trying to get majorities of crates in different colors as well. Now, if you were able to come to the capital city here and deliver one of these, well, you get it, but instead of being 1 point, it's worth 2 points. These would refill as well for other players. You're also trying to build networks. Like this tells us, from here, we need to network to this resource in the green area. So again, from here, all the way to this thing. Now, if we're the first one to do, we'll get 5 points. Second is 3 points, and third person to do is 2 points. And these scale for player count. Now, with the game, you're gonna be building routes and networks. Now, this is a transport. This is what you're moving around to do things, but there's also outposts you'll be able to build. Now, outposts, I have a network that goes like this, but I also have another transport here. And even though the outposts don't move once they're placed, but these do. So right here, I don't have a network that goes from here all the way to here. However, if I had another transport, even if it's temporarily here for this turn, well, I'm gonna be able to score that. And again, if I'm the first one to do it, everyone has their own little things here. I would get 5 points for that. Now let's talk about moving in this game. In this game, you're gonna be taking actions and then you're gonna be able to move all your transports. Now you have to finish your movement with one before moving another one. If I wanna move from here to here, it costs me something. If I don't have an outpost or a transport here, it's gonna cost me a krill. Now you have a board where you're tracking steel, wood, coins, and krills, so that would have cost me 1 krill. I have none left. But anywhere you have an outpost or a transport, you don't have to pay. So I don't have to pay leaving here, I don't have to pay leaving here, I don't have to pay leaving here, and I don't have to pay leaving here. So for 1 krill, I was able to get all the way up there, and after you're done moving, you can load or unload with each one. So this one I could have, let's say this one had just already moved that turn, this one moved here. So both of these could load this if they wanted to. And again, of course, you're unloading at the bigger capitals and the things like that too, or the territory cities in order to get the points that I showed you earlier. Now I've already shown you most of the ways that you score during the game at the end game, but there's 3 network cards you get at the beginning. One's easy, one's medium, one's hard. After a certain round, you're gonna have to throw one of these away. But what this shows you is that from here, which is the start, and this actually shows you the logo on the map of what it is, if you're able to get a network that goes to here, which shows you what it is, and here, which shows you what it is, kind of like Ticket to Ride cards, if you get them to go to both of them, you can flip them over at the end of your turn and you'll get 6 points. If you only get one of these at the end of the game, because these are secret goals, at the end of the game, you would flip it over and get the 3 points. So if I only went from here to here, I'd get 3. This one is 7 and 4, this one's 8 and 3, because it's harder to get to. So you have these that you're working on. Again, one of them you're gonna throw away at a certain part of the game. In a 4-player game, it's after the end of the second round, for example. So bringing this card down the table, which you normally wouldn't do, if I start from here, which is right here, it shows you the icon, I need to go here, which is here. Now I have a network, I have here, 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 I'm there. Now, if I'm able to get all the way down here as well, that's when I would flip it. So you're trying to build these networks to do that as well. Now the game is played over multiple rounds. Again, after the second round in this 4-player game, you get rid of one of your cards. But the game plays over a certain amount of rounds, depending on the amount of players. And each player has an action disc labeled 1 through 5. At the beginning of the round, you have to choose which one of these to flip down and discard that you're not going to use this round. Then whoever has the starting wheel will be the first player, and you go clockwise, placing these discs, taking an action, possibly moving your transports, and maybe collecting rewards. This is worth 2 points if you have it at the end of the game. There is a spot, a worker placement spot that allows you to get this. Now there's 4 sides of the board that you can place your workers on. On the left side, it's going to be all spots where you get resources. So if you put your 5 here, you get 3 wood, 2 steel, and a krill, and you'll get less and less as you go to the lesser number. Now there's actually a B side of this board which gives it more player interaction. Now on this board, you can only place 1 disc here the entire round. So once you've gone there, you can't go there later, which means if all other players have gone there, well, you know that you could wait a little while to go there because no one else is going to be able to block you there. Now one of the spaces you can go are spaces to get characters, and when you do that, you pay the money on the top right, and then you get to use its ability. Some of them are like endgame abilities. You look at your longest unbroken chain of outposts, and you're going to get a point for each. These, like this one, says you can build an outpost on any gray spot, so just build it. Now when doing that, you can see this icon here. Now that's a one-time use, but you'll turn it once you've done that. But you get to decide what to do it. This is permanent. Now you can always spend krill as a coin. This is a one-time use. It allows you to basically put a transport out on the board. So some of them are also, they go automatically, like immediately as well. It's all different types of these. And these flush out every round as well. They get taken because people take them, but the ones that aren't there will get flushed out at the end of the round. On the right side of the board also is a little board that's double-sided. The B side is more player interaction. And again, you're going to go to one of these spots. You can only go to one of these spots on this board per round, again, like the left side of the board. And they just give you different actions. You'll be doing things like, hey, twice you can spend 3 to build an outpost or 5 coins to build a transport. You can move 3 times and unload or load during it. You take the first player marker, 2 krill, and then you can trade resources. Here allows you to pay a coin, and you can use a special ability of a port, which is the next place we'll go. At the bottom of the board are the ports, and this is where you go. Again, this is the one spot where people can actually, multiple people can go to the same thing. So let's say this player goes here as a 1. The art in this game is amazing. This allows you to build an outpost or a transport in this location. So you look at that location on the board, and you would build. On your player boards, it shows you that you could spend a wood and a steel for an outpost, or 2 steel and 2 wood to build one of your transports. Now at the end of the round, now if somebody else goes here, their chip will go on top of yours. At the end of the round, who's ever the last one to go there, meaning their chip's on top, gets to take the port bonus, like 3 coins, or 2 wood or 2 steel, or load any of your transports with the cargo shown. Now again, that last action I showed you, you spend a coin, you can do any one of these abilities. So how it works is you're placing one of these, you're doing the action, then you're possibly moving your transports, then you're possibly loading and unloading and possibly getting the rewards as I showed you. And then you place another disc and you go until you don't have any disc lists for the round, and then things will clear up, you refresh, and then you'll do this again for as many rounds as there are in the game. And again, at the end, you're getting 2 points if you have the first player marker. You're looking at all the crates that you've scored. Remember, the big ones are 2, the small ones are 1. Majority, 5 points for majority. You're looking at these different achievements that we talked about that are races. We're looking at the people that have scored and been able to build the networks in the right spot. We're looking at the cards themselves, the network cards that we talked about like this. So lots of ways to score, and whoever has the most at the end is the winner. All right, I was super excited about this one. This was my #1 most anticipated game at Gen Con, and so had a chance to play. This was designed by the designers of Sagrada, which is a game I love, Daryl Andrews and Adrian Adamescu. So let's first talk about what I liked about it. Table presence. This game, by the way, this is the retail version that I have here. The Kickstarter version is even crazier component-wise, but the retail version, ooh, what table presence. You got all these different inserts and such, and then you get the personal inserts with all your pieces, and then the pieces are out on the map, and they're colorful, and they look good, and it just looks really nice on the table. Everything graphic design-wise, colors-wise, component-wise looks really good on the table. I like the tension of the action selection. Meaning, most of the places and sides of the board that you can go on, the 4 different sides with your actions, you can only go there once, right? Two of them, you can only go there once, right? And once you've gone there, you're not going there again. But you have these things where there's a lot of things you want to do, but you got to prioritize. Ooh, what do I want to do? I want to do this, this, and this. Well, what's the most priority? What if somebody goes there? Can I do the other 2? And so you're constantly trying to think about what you're going to be doing that round, but you got to think about what the other opponent's going to be doing too. So there's a lot of tension in that action selection that I really like. I like that you're sometimes changing the order of your actions, knowing that certain parts of the board won't be played on from other players. Because let's say you're looking at the left or the right side of the board there with the actions, and you know what? Let's say you're playing a 4-player game and 3 players have already gone there, and you're like, well, none of them can go over there right now. I was going to go there, but someone else went to this other spot. Now I know that all those spots are open for me. Whatever's left is open. So I don't have to go there till my last action. It might make sense to have to go there first to get resources and then do something else on a future turn. But if I'm okay with resources, I'll just like, you know what, I'll do that action last. So I like that you might have a plan, but then depending on where other people go, you'll have to change that plan. And I like tactical games like that, so I like it. The game has many paths to victory, especially because the game has a lot of replayability. The big goals are going to change every round. Every game. The what you're bringing where is going to change. The networks that you're going to build, there's different ones of those. So like every game plus you've got the different ports that come out in different ways. You have different characters that come out different ways. Some are better earlier in the game, some are better later in the game. There's so many paths to victories to what you want to do. What do you want to focus on? You can't do everything. Do you want to focus on the majorities of different colors? Do you want to focus, there's just a lot of different ways you can skin the cat in this game, and I like that. It gives you a lot of freedom. Almost feels a little sandboxy where you can kind of go off and do your own thing. You could play a completely different game with someone else and you're both going to be somewhat close. I like that aspect of it. I like that there's an evolving puzzle of, goods to deliver. So, you might have something and somebody else might deliver a good somewhere, which brings out a new one. You might go, oh, you know what? I was going to deliver this thing over there, but I can now deliver it over here. It's not going to be quite as good, but I can still get it. Maybe it helps you with a goal. And that evolving puzzle there as to what to do. Plus, also as you're building outposts and bringing more transports in, you're building those networks. That's a puzzle too, because for not only delivering and like, hey, I'm going to move this transport over here. That's going to allow me to move this one over here without spending any krill, but now I can deliver through this whole chain. Stuff like that. So it's interesting. It sort of evolves as the game goes on. And I like that you're trying to find synergies of network bonuses and cards, because you're giving these cards that kind of feel like Ticket to Ride cards, your secret goals, where instead of just trying to get from one thing to another place, well, you can do that, but you'll get more points if you go from one place to another and that same starting place to somewhere else, like if you have this big link. And you're finding yourself to look for synergies between the cards that you're trying to finish, but also the goods and the network that you're building to get that, and seeing what's out on the board to allow you to sort of be more efficient. Because, there's multiple ways to get to those different places. And you might go a little bit out of the way because it's going to help you be more efficient, because you're going to be able to get more things done on the way of building that. And I like that. It has a very Ticket to Ride feel there that I like quite a bit. So overall, I enjoyed the game. What I didn't like as much, the game has a lot of symbology. It's heavy on symbology. You're gonna have to learn the symbology every round, right? Every round there's gonna be 5 new characters, or 5 new characters, 5 new ports, and all of them have different abilities. And so your first couple times playing, you're going to need to. Now, by the way, they did provide a really good player aid, and not just one of them. There's multiples that you can pass around that have all of the icons and which section of the game that you see these icons on. That really helped a lot. But you are going to be at the beginning of every round going through and looking at everything. Once you played the game, I'd say 3 times, you probably don't need it as much, because it's not that the iconography is bad. It's actually pretty good. It's just there's a lot of it. So you're going to find yourself, the first few plays, stumbling up, having it be a lot longer than the box says. I think the box says 75 minutes. First game, if you're playing 4 players, it's going to be 2 hours, because you're going to be looking up stuff and strategies and such. But at least they have that play rate. So the other thing is, one of the twists of this action selection is, at the beginning of the round, you decide which one action number you're not going to play, and it goes out of the game and no one gets to see what it is for that round. I found this to be one, AP inducing, analysis paralysis, where you're like, oh my gosh, there's all these actions. Which one am I least likely or don't want to take? I don't know. And the harder thing is, I don't know what other people are going to do. I'm not sure why they didn't just say, you know what, on your last turn, you're going to have 2 action discs left. You're only going to take one of them. Right? Then at the end, you have a little bit more of a choice. You have more information on what other people have done. It's still going to be a tough choice. Sometimes both of them will suck, but at least you have choices based upon what has happened, and you have some information. I didn't really get why they wanted you to throw something out at the beginning. The game's already tight. It's tight economically. You can't get everything done that you want to get done, which is fine. That's good. That's a good design in many places. But on top of that, you're going to make me throw out an action disc, and I have no idea what everybody else is going to do. That part I didn't like as much. I kind of wish they would just say, you know what, at the end, throw out one of the 2 actions that you're not going to use. I felt like that would be more interesting and less AP and less downtime. But that's for me. Overall, I enjoy the game. If you like route building, I don't like pick up and deliver games, but this, even though you're picking up and deliver, you're building these routes so big that it's like, oh, I got this, and now I can just deliver it. Like you're doing things a lot faster as the game goes on. So if you like pick up and delivery, if you like route building, if you like Ticket to Ride network building, but you want something a lot heavier, this is pretty interesting, and that worker placement is really cool too. So that is Mistwind. Game Toppers upgrades every game you play, and they'll be launching their 4.5 Kickstarter this July, which will introduce the new Galactic Minecraft and Watson Game Toppers, as well as new game mats, miniature gaming terrain packs, leg kit options, dining covers, accessories, and amazing package deals. Their summer sale is running right now, and you can get 15% off all accessories and premium game mats at GameToppersLLC.com.